welcome to this episode of Hank's Corner. I'm Hank Jr., part of Hank Jr. Productions, where I'm documenting life's moments through photography, videography, and podcasting. And tonight on Hank's Corner, I have somebody that's from my old stomping grounds from my high school and college time. I have Camille K. Camille, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Hank. How are you?
Oh, I'm awesome now that I get a chance to talk with you. And
Oh,
as I
likewise.
alluded, you're in the Philadelphia, South Jersey area, correct?
Yes, I am.
Okay, and I specifically wore my Boathouse Row shirt today for this interview because the Boathouse Row is one of my favorite areas, along with the Rocky Stairs that most people refer to them as, but the art museum. What are some of your favorite things about the Philadelphia or South Jersey area yourself?
Well, I love everything about it. Um, like for example, I really, really love all of the performance venues in both of the places, and I love the community of the area. And there's some great museums in Philly, like you stated, that I used to go to a lot as a kid, and I really want to get back to, one of these days. And yeah,
Yeah,
just
and
everything
so
about it. There's some great
and you
places.
mentioned the venues. Yeah, they're in Philadelphia. I did see a lot of like Broadway type shows there in Philly, which was a lot
Hmm.
easier to get to than in New York. And, we talked a little bit about the museums. And I do feel a little bit like Rocky because I had lived there for, 10 years or so. And in one of the Rocky movies, he's taking his son up the stairs and he says, "Hey, I never knew that there was a museum in here."
You know, I've been running up and down these steps for 20 years, and I never knew there was valuable pictures in this building.
Well, you're never too old to learn something new.
Yeah.
You're gonna love Picasso.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, I love almost everybody.
And it wasn't until right before I left that I actually got into that art museum. Didn't realize how great it was, but yeah,
Oh
definitely
wow.
Philadelphia has a lot of culture and stuff like that,
Hmm.
but also good food. Are you a fan of a cheesesteak or a hoagie?
I've actually never had a cheesesteak.
You have
So,
not had a cheesesteak.
no, I know it's crazy. I'm gonna have to try one. Everybody says how like amazing and delicious they are. How about you? You like them?
So I do, and I do. Everybody has their favorites, and of course, when I was up there, of course, Geno's and Pat's are the quote unquote main ones. But we tend
Hmm.
to, if you're from that area, you find a different one. And actually, believe it or not, there was a place in the mall that was more like a chain that I really enjoyed eating their cheesesteaks there. So that was kind of unusual. Nobody kind of picked that. But so what types of food then do you eat if you're not eating cheesesteaks?
Oh my gosh. I like a lot of things. Like I love sushi for one, and I love Italian cuisine, Mexican food. So really everything too.
Okay, and Philadelphia does have a lot of great Italian food, but I never found a good Mexican place over there. Do you have
Oh,
one?
I have one back in South Jersey. There's this little place called Luna y Sol. It has amazing, authentic Mexican food. My family and I, we go there all the time, and it's just so great.
Oh, well, it must not have been up there when I was up there, but at the
Hmm.
time we had something called Chi-Chi's, just an old chain, and it was very commercialized, nothing like I would get while I was in South Texas.
Oh, gotcha. So you were in South Texas?
Yeah, so I was born and raised in South Texas, moved to South Jersey, and I spent my high school, college years there, and I just ended up back in Texas. But now ultimately, I'm here in Florida, getting ready to retire from my full time job in a couple years. But
Oh, wow.
that's kind of like the quick story. How long have you been in Philadelphia?
All my life.
Okay, and that's what's
Yeah.
surprising that you haven't had a cheesesteak, but that's okay. How how about some of the sports teams? Do you follow any of the sports teams there in Philadelphia?
Yeah, the Eagles, the Phillies, and the 76ers. I actually have a funny story regarding the Phillies. I went to see them when I was younger. Used to go to their games a lot actually with my family. And one day, I forget what type of seats we had, but we had the seats like all the way up top, um, near where the rooms are. Do you know what
Hmm.
I'm talking about?
The sweets, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, the sweets. And so basically, there was like a ball just like flying into the audience, and it basically hit me on my head, and it was like going
Mm.
super super fast. And I had a headband at the time, so it just like snapped in half, and I was left with a huge big bump on my head, and it hurt. And then
Oh,
when it
wow.
hit me, everybody was looking at me, and then they called the doctors and everything. But I was fine. But then I got to keep the ball because everybody felt sorry for me. But that was
Hey,
interesting.
that's one way to get a ball because I've never gotten a foul ball, but I am glad that you're okay that once you got hit because yeah, those things come pretty fast and it was even worse when I went to one of the minor league games over there in Camden and before they
Mhm.
put the nets up like they have now, I mean those balls become flying out there and everything. But
Oh my
now that's cool
gosh.
that you are a good sports fan and I do follow the Eagles as well, and unfortunately, they came down here to Tampa, and I, had great seats to watch them. Only it was great seats to watch them, disappoint me, and in
Oh.
their playoff season here. But like they always say, maybe next year. But
Yeah.
also talking about the venues, I know one of the things that you play at quite a bit is the Hard Rock Cafe there in Philadelphia. Tell me a little bit about that area.
Sure. So yeah, that's like right by like Reading Terminal Market, and it's just a great area. And the place itself is amazing. You know, the staff are wonderful. Everything there is great, and it's always a great time. I always have a lot of fun. So I
Okay, and
really enjoy playing there, and it's an honor to play there as well.
yeah, it's a great venue, and you're kind of like there almost maybe once a week, once every 2 weeks.
Oh, I'm there like yeah. Well, I'm there like every once every month.
Oh, once every month.
Now I'm gonna be playing there once every month. I just played there 2 weeks ago for International Women's Day. I played a
Yeah.
2 hour set, and before that, I also played another 3 hour set, which I usually do on Fridays. So it's a great time.
Okay, and so for my friends and family that are still in the Philadelphia, South Jersey area, you need to get out there and see Camille K perform. So I know that watching you a little bit on social media, one of the videos that you have that you put out was "Can I Be Your Girl?" So
Hmm.
we're going to go ahead and play that real quick, and then when we come back, I want you to talk a little bit about that.
Absolutely.
The music.
I don't really know you that well, but baby, you make me wanna wish it was me you felt could be your girl. Oh, maybe, baby, you could be mine. I'll write your songs and sing them to you.
Welcome back to Hank's Corner. I'm Hank Jr. along with Camille K. And that was her song, Can I Be Your Girl? Now, tell me a little bit about that, the song process and also the video process, because if I heard correctly, I guess you kind of wrote that a little bit from personal experience.
Yeah, I did. So I was like 13 years old at the time, and the way I write songs is usually, I feel this emotion, and then I basically, put it into song. So I based the song off of that. And I liked this boy at the time, so I just sat down at the piano one day, and I came up with this cool like piano riff and like the chords, and I just started writing the lyrics to it. So that's really how the song came to be.
Okay. And tell us a little bit about the video. I mean, whose concept was that? Who kind of put it together, that sort of thing?
Oh, sure. So that was the video was a great experience, to shoot and everything. That was my first music video shoot. And I guess the concept was, created by there was a video director. His name's Church Pants. He's awesome, dude. And as well as my other producer for the song during the time, Zay, he helped as well. And I think we all collaborated on the music video idea, the concept. We made like a storyboard, and we kind of decided that we would be doing like shooting a video like pretty late. So it was kind of a little last minute. Like I had a week to prepare before it. But yeah, we collaborated on that. I shot my ideas out and they did theirs. We put it together and we decided that, to fit the song, we would have a romantic interest come and play the part. And so I invited my great friend. His name is Jake Thistle, and you can find him at Jake Thistle Music on everything. And he's an incredible musician, so definitely check him out as well. And he was so kind enough to, come out and shoot the video with me, and it was really, really fun and definitely a great learning experience. And I'm so happy we got to do it.
Yeah, and I'm definitely going to look up Jake now that you mentioned who he is. And I always ask about like the videos and the photography because, like I mentioned at the beginning of the podcast, I mean that's what I do on the side. I do the photography and the videography, so that kind of stuff always interests
Cool.
me. And I always try to get the photographers and videographers plugged as well, with the artists. So that was really good that you mentioned that. But are you planning on doing any more videos in the near future?
Yeah, hopefully. I definitely have a lot of songs that I want to record and then put out. And then once I do that, I'll definitely make some more music videos along with
And
them.
and how do you feel, in front of a camera versus just being on stage? Is there any difference, or do you ever get nervous at either one of them?
Um, I would say I definitely still get nervous at times. It's gotten a lot better with like experience since both I've been, in front of a camera more often. I used to do a bunch of like Live It Up Thursday live streams, and I do
Yes.
like, a couple live streams here and there still when I have the time, but now I'm so busy with school and everything and gigging out, personally, but and as well as on stage. But I would say the two experiences are definitely different because when you're in front of a camera, you're kind of just staring at the camera and you don't like, see the people behind it. So it's like you have to connect. Meanwhile, like when you're on stage and when you're in person, you see all the audience and you can kind of like go back and
Feed
forth and
off them, yeah.
feed off their energy. But I would say it's fun both ways.
Yeah, I could definitely see the pros and cons. We talked offline, that this podcast is recorded, and how easy it is if you mess up. Okay, let's go ahead and start over. But like you
Hmm.
said, you also have to bring a different element because you have to talk to the people that are quote unquote behind the camera, and so I can see how that could be a little bit different. But you
Hmm.
did mention school. So how does somebody your age? I always want to know this balance schoolwork and, the music career.
So that's a great question. Thank you for asking. So right now, I'm actually enrolled in a private online school. So I used to go, like, all my life I've been in like the public schools around my area. So, I'd have to go to school, and then, after school, then I'd be practicing, or right after school, I'd have to, head off to band rehearsal or something, or gigs, late night gigs. So, throughout, when I started gigging, which is probably like upper elementary school or even elementary school, up until I guess middle school. Um, I don't know. I just do my schoolwork. I try to stay disciplined, manage my time and still be able to get my projects done and still be able to have time for my music. But now, since I'm online and my school doesn't have any set times, like where I need to attend, I don't have any like timed Zoom meetings. So I don't need to like get up at 6 or get up at 7, join a meet, attend, be there for the whole class. The way my school works now is I can basically do my work anytime I want to, as long as I get it done, submit it, and I basically just learn all by myself. So I read the textbooks, I read everything I need to read, then I take tests and I take quizzes, stuff like that. So I would say now I have a lot more flexibility, but at the same time, last year when I was a freshman in high school, that was just the year when, or I guess the second year after, COVID hit, because I think COVID hit when I was like in eighth grade, in like the middle of the year, I believe. But anyways, everybody was kind of adjusting to online learning. I was still in that public high school. So I would say that I definitely had less work then. So now I have more work, but it's more flexible.
Right.
So
And
it's
so
different.
yeah, and so online, that's the advantage of doing online, is that you do have the ability to be a little bit more flexible, but you have to
Mhm.
stay disciplined, to be able to do that, because you could be like, I'll do this later. I'll do this later. But
Yeah.
tell me about the social aspect of it. Do you, miss out on any social things because you're not actually in the public school? You're doing it online.
I would say that I do in a way. I definitely don't see my friends as often as I did before. And one of the reasons that I switched up online school is because of, COVID and everything that was happening. And my previous public school was forcing everybody to go back in person. And my parents and I, we just didn't feel like we were comfortable enough. I was comfortable enough to go back in school full time. So that's why we decided it. So I definitely don't see a lot of my friends as often. But I do socialize, obviously. When I go to my gigs, I get to see people, I get to talk to them, I get to sing for them. That's always a lot of fun. And I invite my friends sometimes too. And I've been hanging out with my friends more recently as well. And, also rehearsing with the band. That's always a lot of fun. That's exciting.
Yeah, so you're able to pick up the social aspect in
Yeah.
different areas as well. But
Just
for
hang out with them separately.
And what advice would you give, for an artist that's about your age, maybe in high school or just, towards the end of high school, that is contemplating, how do I balance the music with the school stuff? What are some of the advice that you would give them?
Well, it's definitely not easy because, school can be a lot and music can be a lot. But definitely to stay disciplined and be good with your time management so, you can get all your school done as much as you can in a day. And then you can still have time for your music. And then you can still have time to, relax and take a breather and have some time for yourself.
Right, because you definitely need to finish that high school. I mean, it's just something that needs to be done. And when I've talked to a lot of other artists, the college thing becomes a little bit different, to where some of them say, "Well, I'm going to do the college because I want to make sure I have something to fall back on, just in case
Mhm.
the music doesn't work out." And then some artists will say, "Well, if I don't get rid of the college, then I always feel like I have a safety net and won't push forward and do the music stuff." So, but definitely high school is something that obviously needs to be taken care of, and then as you get older you can make that decision. But looking back, how did this all start? I guess it was about 5 years old when you started taking piano lessons, and how did that go?
So I took, as you said, piano lessons at 5 years old. And after a couple of months, I quit because I thought it was really boring. So that was pretty funny. But just singing and music wise, I've been singing ever since I could talk. So it's always been a big part of my life. I would go to school or I'd be at home and I'd be just like singing like randomly, like whatever melody was stuck in my head or whatever song I heard on the radio. And my parents would be like, Camille, you're hurting our ears, or like you're singing too much. Like we
Hmm.
need, like, our ears need to rest. And at school, I would get in trouble for like randomly bursting into song as well. So, I've always been like that. And as I just grew older, I just, tried to work hard on it and I would practice consistently. And, it really got to be something that I love doing.
Well, it sounds like you would probably be good in the musical because, like you said, you're talking, and then you randomly burst out in music. So maybe that'll be something you'll do down the line. So what
Yeah.
so what changed from the 5-year-old girl that says, piano's not for me, to all of a sudden, you are playing the piano, the guitar, and the ukulele, and all the stuff. What changed for you?
I would say I think at the time, because I was taking lessons, right? And I was learning like all just like the classical stuff or like hot crossed buns. That was a song that I learned. Hot cross
Hmm.
buns. And I guess the Star Spangled Banner, I learned that on piano too. But I just didn't like I guess the curriculum. I just thought that like that wasn't the music that I really really enjoyed, and I just didn't enjoy learning that. And I felt like, ugh, I have to practice this. But as I grew older, I found like what music I'm like drawn to, and like my own style. And I think I picked back up the piano. And I learned the piano besides the lessons, like all by myself. So I started teaching myself like the songs that I want to play and how to accompany myself as well. So I guess that's why that's what motivated me to do that,
To do
or
it your own
why
way.
I'm playing it. Yeah, do it my own way. And same with guitar too.
And you mentioned, there's certain, I guess genres that you like, but tell me what those influences are for you, because when I look at your stuff in social media, I mean, you have stuff that's, soul and R&B, but then even, you do a cover that's kind of country. So what is it that really interests you then, or you just like it all? I mean, it's hard to tell.
Yeah, I really do like it all. Like I do really enjoy R&B and soul and also classic rock, because my dad's actually the one who introduced me to classic rock and I've loved it ever since. He played it on the radio and I was like, "OMG, Guns N' Roses, I want to learn that." And so
And
that's
that's still
also
hard for me to hear that Guns N' Roses is classic rock, because
oh,
classic rock to me was back in the 70s, and now it
mhm.
is the 80s, so it is a little hard for me to hear. But along those lines, I mean, you also play in a Pink Floyd tribute band, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
So tell me a little bit about that as well. Like, I don't know how you have time to do all this, but tell me how that goes.
Sure. So I'll give you a little background on how I got into rock music and then I'll segue into that. Is
Sure.
that cool?
Oh, let's
Okay,
do it.
cool. So as I said, one day I'll just give you the full story. One day I was in the car and I would usually listen to like Disney Channel radio, but then I got so sick of it because they had so many ads. And so I was like, "Dad, please change the channel." And so Disney Channel was pop, right? And I
Hmm.
was probably like 5, 6, 7 at the time, something like that. I was young. And so he changed it to WMGK 102.9 or something like that, which
Hmm.
is a great radio station, classic rock, in the Philly area.
Yep.
And I was like, I fell in love with it. And I heard all sorts of like music. I heard like Bad Company, which I love, and, Pink Floyd, obviously, and a bunch of other awesome bands. And so that's what really got me into electric guitar, because I thought it was so cool and I thought that music was really cool. So I took lessons and I was at this great program called Music Training Center, and I got into rock band camps and rock band programs, and I met some really great people. And just overall, like the place really helped me grow and helped nurture my love for music. And then I went to School of Rock, and I was there for a couple seasons, and that's where I met my friends who invited me to be in a Pink Floyd tribute band. So at the time, I didn't really know a lot of Floyd except just the basic Dark Side of the Moon stuff, which is awesome. But yeah, I mean, they invited me to be in it, and I'm so grateful. And it's just always an amazing time. And I love Floyd. I love the music, and I love my bandmates. They're amazing, and we've been keeping at it. So.
Well, that's awesome. And like I said, your genre playing is kind of all over the place. And
Yeah.
we talked that we're going to go ahead and play a song that you did, a cover by Rihanna, "Love on the
Mhm.
Brain." And tell me a little bit, why you chose that song to play here.
Sure. So I chose this song because, first off, I think it's an amazing song. I love Rihanna. I think she's awesome. She's a great artist. And also because this song is like really fun for me to play, and I always enjoy performing it live. And actually, the video that you're going to be playing is one of my performances at the Micah Club in New Jersey. It's in Mystic Islands, and so that was a great show, and we got to record some of my songs from my sets, and yeah.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and play that here on Hank's Corner.
What you want from me, and I try to buy your pretty heart, but the price too high. Baby, you got me like, oh, you love when I fall apart, so you can put me together and throw me against the wall.
Thank you.
Baby, you got me like, don't just stop loving me, don't quit loving me, just start loving me. Oh, and babe, I'm face fine with fine, just to get close to you. Can we burn something, babe? Out for miles, just to get a taste. Must be love on the brain that's got me feeling this way. And it beats me black and blue, but it cuts me so good, and I can't get enough. Must be love on the brain, and it keeps cursing my name. No matter what I do, I'm no good without you, and I can't get enough. Must be love on the brain. Then you keep loving me, just love me, just love me. All you need to do is love me, and you got me like, ow. Try to be played like a violin. What do I gotta do to get in your pretty little heart? Baby, you got me like, don't just stop loving me, don't quit loving me, just start loving me. Oh, and babe, I'm fist fight with fire, just to get close to you. Can we burn something, babe? I went for miles just to get a taste. Must be love on the brain that's got me feeling this way. And it beats me black and blue, but it cuts me so good, and I can't get enough. Must be love on the brain, and it keeps no good without you, and I can't get enough. Must be love on the brain. And you keep loving me, just love me, just love me. All you need to do is love me. Must be love on the brain.
Thank you so much.
Welcome back to Hank's Corner. I'm Hank Jr. along with special guest Camille K. And so, what plans should we be looking for in the future from you? I mean, whether it's the next couple of weeks or this year, what are some of the things that we can expect from Camille K?
So I'm definitely going to be playing out more. I have a couple shows coming up. So one of which is a performance, a solo show for me. It's going to be 3 hours at the Hard Rock Cafe in Philadelphia. And that's going to be on April 8th. And I'll be playing from 6 to 9. So please make sure to go ahead, come join me. It's going to be an awesome time. And then with my Pink Floyd tribute band that I'm in, Shine On, we have a show at the LNC, the Lord's New Church, on April 2nd. And we hit the stage at 7 p.m. So make sure to be there.
Yeah, so all of you that are actually in that area, I mean, I wish I could come up there and visit family and catch one of your shows. But for those that are there, make sure that you do that. Make sure that you check out Camille on her social media as well. But is there anything that you're looking to do maybe outside of the Philadelphia area, or kind of hoping maybe to tour any other part of the states?
I have no plans for a tour like as of the moment, but definitely, hopefully in the near future, I would love to go ahead and play out in different areas and different states. I think that'd be really fun.
All right. Well, if you ever decide to come here to Florida, I'm going to get a front row seat to that. So, Camille,
Oh, wonderful.
I
Thank you.
appreciate you coming on the show here today. And anytime that you want, you're more than welcome to be a guest here on Hank's Corner.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. It's truly an honor.